You missed the smoothie clock, it seems like.
I did.
You missed the smoothie clock. The smoothie clock is over.
I know we're live, but why don't we all just disperse and make a smoothie real quick? We'll come back.
Does anybody need to get something? Danny, you wanna go make a pizza?
You wanna go get Nick?
I'd be so terrified if he nodded just then.
So like we only mentioned last week we only mentioned that you were house sitting for Nick while he's in Japan, but we did not mention that you set up a dummy of Nick with like a cutout version of his face in a chair behind you. There were a couple times last week that like if you were watching Twitch, Danny like turned around and you like jumped, you like forgot to put it there and scared yourself. Well. Welcome to another episode of the Flying Bison Podcast. It's just the four of us again. Nick is still in Japan, as I mentioned. He's here in spirit, both spiritually, but also as the cutout face behind Danny right now. He'll be back next.
Here spiritually,
because
his spirit is consumed by that cutout.
Yeah. I took. When Nick and I hung out in Milwaukee, I took a sliver of his soul and I put it in that little cutout of his face.
That's terrifying.
I bet he didn't even mind.
He didn't even notice, to be honest. He didn't even notice.
That's a form of consent.
Not notice.
Yeah, if you don't notice, it's there's nothing to consent to.
It didn't.
No, that's terrible advice.
I just feel like we didn't really clarify that is no.
Yeah, please, no.
No is a full sentence. Consent is important.
Explicit consent. You need explicit consent from somebody.
I thought we were just talking about taking souls.
No, legally, we are not responsible for anything any of our listeners do with any misinformation they may have taken from that.
But be responsible, be ethical. You treat people with empathy and kindness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not showing the red dot.
Nah.
While we wait for Justin, sorry, viewers / listeners. Technical note, Danny, the mic should not be more than a fist away from your mouth.
And that is clearly 7 fists away.
Yeah. You could fit so many fists in there.
All right. You can fit so many. Jesus Christ.
I'm just going to start over because I don't know at what point I stopped recording. I quit Discord because... welcome to another episode of the Flying Bison Podcast. Nick is gone this week again, but he is here in the form of the cutout face behind Danny, who has set up a terrifying scarecrow image of Nick to ward off any bad rolls from Danny's side. We're playing Apocalypse Roadtrip again this week, just finishing up whatever the heck we get into tonight. And then next week we'll be back. Nick will be back. We're going to play Blades in the Dark, telling the story of Che now leading a group of other Project Spark people.
In the past.
This will be, spoiler alert, right before him and Rosa can meet up. So.
Some good pre-campaign story.
But today, like I said, we're just playing Apocalypse Roadtrip. I had so much fun last week. I hope you all did too.
I like the mechanics. Like I just like how Danny's underwhelmed. I was whelmed. I think Johnny was overwhelmed, and so we all met in the middle. But I love like the resource mechanics. I love how like scarcity is like the essence of the game. It's like we have only so much time, we have only so much fuel, we have only so much, and you just got to work with it.
And that is actually that sort of vibe persists over a lot of Forged in the Dark games. There's this like balance of like, I have to manage my resources because I'm going on these incredibly dangerous missions. I don't know what I'm going to meet, but I have to make sure I've got the stuff I need.
I love it.
It's fun. I'm having a lot of fun. Like I said, I love that like sort of metagame layer and level to it. I'm having a blast GMing for sure. I think it like I've said this before. I'm a huge rules guy. I love rules, so I think I like Forged in the Dark games because they have very like concrete rules. You can just kind of refer back to them, and then it tells you what to do.
Yeah, a little crunchier than
I'm
PBTA.
having a lot of fun. A little crunchier, but like I feel like the right amount of crunchy. The right amount of crunchy, where it doesn't get in the way, but it adds a nice layer to your gaming.
That's some texture.
Add some texture, yes. It's the bonita flakes of tabletop role playing game sushi.
It's ribbed for you.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was just
Look at
top
us.
of mind for you. Look at the mind
us.
on you,
Look at
Justin.
Look at him.
I don't sure. Yes.
Yes.
Look at my mind. Look at my mind, everybody.
Behold.
Last week, we started following. And I keep forgetting to mention this. They're playing themselves. Danny, Johnny, and Steve are all playing themselves in this apocalypse scenario. Has led to some very funny situations.
This is
for
exactly
sure.
how we'd act. Exactly what we do in this situation.
Exactly. Yep.
Johnny would just
last-
jump into a reactor.
Jump into the Tesla coil reactor. Last week, you all decided that you wanted to start in Pie Town. And almost immediately getting into Pie Town, you find out that the whole thing is just an alien illusion. So you had to fight some aliens. You found the reactor coil, the Tesla coil that was powering this whole alien technology illusion. And Johnny decided to just jump straight into it.
And I got superpowers, so absolutely I'm doing that in real life because I'm going to get superpowers.
It worked. It worked, and I should mention it worked that time. So
It's the only time I
you're not
needed
really
to.
sure. It's true. It's true. I'm just putting that out for the rest of you, Danny and Steve. It's not always going to work like that.
Oh, we're all jumping in.
You rolled really well.
Tesla coil I see him jumping into.
Wonderful. You guys were able to shut it down, although Steve took a level 1 harm. In the meantime, he started to phase in and out of reality uncontrollably.
That's pretty cool.
But you were able to escape and tear down the illusion, which is great because who knows how many other survivors have fallen trap and victim to Pie Town. So now, at the very least, you might save somebody some time. Tried to escape to Pie Town, started driving away, not really sure where you're going, just trying to get out. Some UFOs started following you. You escaped and were able to find a place to rest and rested the night. You all had some conversations. Steve took some medicine. It is a new day, which means that I reset the 12-segment clock called time or day or whatever you want to call it. Each day has a 12-segment clock. Every couple hours, I will fill it. Oh, I dropped a dice there. You're here. You're here in this little hex right here, about 3 hexes north of Pie Town, sort of by the edge of the Petramore Lake. The sun has risen. I must know. What is the plan? Do you want to discuss it amongst yourself, what the plan is?
Yeah, guys, I think we need gas.
Yep, I was just going to say. There is a hardware store northeast.
Johnny, it's the apocalypse. Whoever your dealer was is probably dead.
Okay, thanks, Danny.
That's over my head. But fuel is what we're talking about, Danny.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the hardware store.
I just sit down and look in my lap.
Hardware store is a good heading.
Yeah. So Johnny, how are you doing? You slept through the night okay?
Yeah.
Don't feel anything weird from the coil?
Nope. Feel great.
Okay. Yeah, Justin, how is my phasing? I know I used the medicine. I know you said it was on the wane.
Yeah. So did you mark healing on that level 1 entry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that means that in about a day. So I would say probably by tonight, it's going to be fine.
So
you still
I'll
have
get
it for
occasional
now,
blips.
Yeah, you might get an occasional blip, and we'll play with that. But by tonight, unless you aggravate it somehow, jump into another reality phasing Tesla coil, it'll be healed probably by this evening.
For the record, I didn't jump in. I was just messing with the controls, but still, it happened. You can't win them all.
Yeah.
All right. I guess
proof
Danny's
that if you're
driving.
too careful, life doesn't care that you're careful. It's gonna happen anyway.
All right. So it sounds like the plan is to travel. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay. You were trying to get to the hardware store, Lake Edge hardware store. You got to tell me how much time you want to spend. And remember, for each time, you're going to degrade your fuel. I think you have 2 more ticks on your fuel before it goes away. So I think at the most you can travel is 2 times.
We can get right up to the hardware store with 2 times.
Almost right up to it. Yep.
Right? 1, 2.
You're going to have to walk. You're going to have to walk a little bit, but...
Yeah, I think we just do it. Let's just go full send.
Yep.
Okay.
As far as we can get with the F-140.
Is it 2 hexes per time?
50.
It's 2 hexes per time. Yep. So 4 hexes.
Let's do it. As soon as everyone gets into the car, boom, I floor it.
All right. Let's build the engagement. Let's build the engagement roll, though. Let's see what happens. I'm going to give you, let's see, any traits help you.
Danny, with driving? Or all
just
of us?
any of you is fine. Yeah, all of you. Resourceful. I might give you the resourceful die.
Mine do not come into play.
Yeah. And I don't think you've got any traits that hinder you, so I'm not going to take any die away.
Chef hinders me because I'm using 2 kitchen knives to try to steer the steering wheel.
No.
But you are spending 2 time. So did you spend? Oh, that says extra time.
2 times.
Is that extra time? So it costs. Okay, so 2 time. You are spending extra time. So I'm going to give you 1 die. So you have 2 dice now, and then did you spend time on lookout beforehand? So did you do a lookout plan beforehand? You did not.
Nah.
So
Nope.
I'm rolling with just 2 die, and we're gonna see what sort of obstacle is in your way. Those 4 hexes.
Nice work.
Okay.
Clear sailing? Is that what that little smirk and chuckle was?
What?
Just nothing's in our way. Perfect straight shot to the hardware store.
I wish. I absolutely wish.
Sure you do.
Sure, Justin. You would have had a bigger smile if it was good for us, right?
Yeah, it's true. I would have. I'm rooting for you guys. I had the lowest die I rolled was a 2, which means there is a risky obstacle. The obvious way forward is gone. But the highest I rolled was a 5. So you're going to achieve getting those 4 hexes. But it'll either be less than you hoped. So I might say that it might be 3 hexes, or it'll cost you something to get it.
We have to
and
sacrifice
I'll tell
Danny.
you.
What?
I'll tell you. We can decide what that. We can decide what that is once we get past the obstacle.
I will willingly sacrifice my character's life to get to the hardware store.
Because what it is that as you are driving down this road, you are taking the road, and eventually you'll cut off a little bit to go towards the hardware store. There might be like a smaller road there that goes that way. I just highlighted the main roads to places. But basically, when you get to that 3rd hex there, you are about to turn off the road when you see a little bit, maybe like a mile down the road, there is this giant tree, like massive. I'm talking like thousands of stories tall. And then the tree moves and lifts up and walks just a little bit forward and slams down. And you look to the left and you see another one of these giant tree legs coming down, and you realize that walking through this road that you're trying to get through, there's a giant tree-sized looking kaiju that is walking towards the lake.
The ends are watching twice.
You said giant tree-sized, but that doesn't really give me any point of reference as to just how big this is.
I understand. Like, think if you've ever seen like a sequoia, like I'm picturing like two sequoias,
that's
like two
legs?
Sequoias. Those are his legs. Yes.
And is that just a size comparison, or does it look like trees?
It looks tree-like.
He's like a giant ant.
Okay.
He's like a kaiju ant.
It's like a giant kaiju ant.
I said
It's terrifying.
Ant.
So I must know, what do you plan to do? Are you going to how are you gonna get past and drive around this giant kaiju that is walking in your path?
So how many legs does it have?
You can only see the two. How many does it have more? Maybe.
I hope not. Just hiding somewhere.
Just picturing myself craning my neck out of the F-150, like.
Yeah, I'm just like, guys.
Am I understanding correctly that the legs that we can see have already passed the road?
They're not past the road. It's like in the road, and even watching it lift that previous leg, it took a while for it to do it. So whatever this next step is going to take, it's going to take some time for it to move off of the road and past. So I think this is where where we introduce like what the reward will be. Sure, you can wait the time and just let it pass, in which case the plane is going to end here. You're just going to move 3 hexes instead of 4.
Will we be out of fuel then at that point?
But you'll be out of fuel then. Now you can move that 4th hex. I think going off road though is going to degrade the car.
I don't think we want to degrade the car just to get fuel when we could wait it out. And
I think it hasn't seen us yet. It might be our best bet just to stop and let it pass.
So
Johnny,
we want to wait for it, or do we continue on foot?
On foot. Johnny, is the F-150 still mirrors on the outside?
Yeah, I didn't change it back.
Excellent. Okay, that gives us a chance, I think, at being less detectable.
Yeah.
Danny, I say you kill the gas and we just make it on foot. What do you think?
All right. Okay. He pulls over.
Great. That thing's really tall. I'm hoping it can't hear all the way down here, but just in case, let's be quiet.
All right. So then I'm assuming the plan then is to walk the rest of the way from here to the hardware store. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with walking, you're only going to move 1 hex per time spent.
Yep.
So in order to get to the hardware store, you're going to have to spend 3 more time.
Yep. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if sneaky helps, especially as we're close to the kaiju.
Yeah, I'm wondering if also
I think so.
Would like resourceful also help kind of pick out the best path?
The most resourceful path, if you will.
Yeah, I'll let you have it. And
I don't think this is gonna help at all, but I just want to note, make note that while we're walking, I'm going all with my alien tech sonar.
Okay, so you're saying that helps you?
No, I'm just saying that
he's doing it.
I'm doing it.
I'll tell you what. I won't give you a die for it because I don't think I can fictionally give you a die for that and being sneaky.
Yeah.
In this case, you have to pick one or the other.
But I'm just keeping a lookout for any alien.
I understand. I'm going to be rolling with 4 dice then.
Thank you.
1 for sneaky, 1 for resourceful, and 2 because you spent extra time.
Okay.
I'm going to roll that again. I didn't really roll that. I kind of just dropped it on the table. Because that was 2 1s, a 2, and a 3.
Oh,
so
thank you so much for re-rolling that.
He really is on our side.
I'm going to be a little nice. It's a bit of better spread, although I did still roll a 2 for your obstacle and a 5 for the reward. So it's going to cost you something.
That's the thing. More dice doesn't necessarily mean, oh, it's going to be better for us regardless, because that's just a higher chance.
No, it gives you
lower dice too.
Yeah, it goes either way. There's another risky obstacle. As you start walking, and then the fog starts overtaking you. It's getting harder and harder to see the trees, and it's getting harder and harder to see the path that you're taking as well too. You hear scuttling in the treetops, and when you look up, there's nothing there. Maybe you see a shadow move quickly past your vision, but when you look up, it's gone. And as you continue to walk down this road, you start to see absolutely ginormous spider webs.
No.
Like the spider webs of content warning, I guess, for people that are afraid of spiders. These spider webs are massive. Whatever spun this is probably even bigger than your Ford F-150.
All right, guys.
They are currently in the path of the path, like in the way of the path between you and continuing down this road to the hardware store.
I think we're all on the same page when I say let's just go back to the car and sit in there for the rest of our lives.
I'm almost there with you. I do feel like, though, we can't. So, Johnny, is there any way you can maybe try to turn one of those webs blocking the path into something else?
I can try. I'm wondering if maybe we see if we can saddle and tame one of these spiders.
Okay, first of all,
opposite order.
First of all, they very well could not be spiders. They could just be maybe aliens that spin webs.
That's true, and somehow way more terrifying than a spider this size.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. At that point, y'all can keep talking. I am going to pull out my 5-foot-long claymore.
Okay.
Keep it at the ready.
Okay.
I am gonna put my hand on the spider web and try to turn it into, I don't know, rope.
Okay.
Why not?
All right. Wonderful.
I look Danny deeply in the eyes as I turn it into rope.
All right. I'm just going to mark number 5.
Wait, whoa, I never said the word.
8 segment.
Oh, you're
clock.
okay. Your giggle said everything.
The 5 is there. The 5 is there.
You're right.
The 5 is there.
Justin
The
read the
5 is
room.
there, and you know it. I think that this is a risky position. Is it desperate? I think it's desperate.
Okay.
I think until you get a better handle on these shape-shifting powers, anytime you try to like specifically do something with it, it's a desperate thing. And I think it's where are my effects? I think it's a desperate position, and it is a. There it is. I think it's a low effect.
Okay. So remind me what I do now.
Yeah, let's start building. Yeah. No, that's it. I say that, and that's we just move on. We're gonna build your dice pool. Okay. So start with 1 die for sheer luck, and then do you have any traits that will help you? And then add a die for any traits that add 1 die for each trait in a relevant trait.
No.
Each dice. Okay, so no traits there. Do any traits hinder you?
I don't think so.
Okay. You know what? I just realized we've been doing this wrong, because when you add traits, at least for building that, I don't know about the engagement roll, but you add however many dice it tells you to in that trait. So I think it'd be 3. Be 3 dice. I've been adding 1. So I will not do that from now on.
Good to learn.
Good to learn. We're learning this game. Okay. So we've got the 1 dice. No traits help you, no traits hinder you. You don't have any injuries or fears. Do you want to push yourself either to stress or take an extra die for a consequence?
Yeah, I'll push myself with the stress.
Okay. Now we can also do this. Now that you've got bonds with each other, somebody can help you. They mark stress equal to the bond level that they have with you. So if Steve were to help you, you have 1 with Steve. So Steve would mark 1 stress.
Okay.
And you would gain an extra die if Steve wanted to do that. But you would obviously have to tell me how you
Yeah,
help
it's hard with these powers to conceive of it.
Yeah. Danny could theoretically help maybe by like cutting some of them away. But yeah, I don't know about Danny ran away like a little gremlin to go to the bathroom, I guess.
I could lean into empathy and try to kind of support Johnny's focus.
I'll be honest with you, Steve. For the sake of the game, I appreciate the help. If in a moment like this in real life you were trying to lean into empathy to assist me, I'd be like, Steve, you got to shut the fuck up before
Steve, let me focus, man. Come on.
Yeah, I'm behind him like, you got this, Johnny. He's like, stop it. Stop saying you got this. I can't think.
Stop. Danny, do you want to help?
Yeah, so maybe I'll say maybe so it's less web to turn into rope. Yeah, I can cut away at some.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is 3 dice then. Danny, I need you to mark 1 stress though.
Let's get stressed.
Let's get stressed. I'm nervous about this roll.
I'm at 3 stress now.
Oh, the gods. Favor me, my friends. I got a 4.
So well.
And 2 6s. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Y'all.
There's got to be a trait by now, right, Justin?
Miracle worker.
It's not a trait. But here's the good news. Here's the good news. With 2 6s, you critically succeed. You have increased effect, which means I'm gonna say that before it would have taken you some other action to do something else to get rid of these webs. I'm gonna say that between Danny and you cutting through these webs, you cut through them and turn the rest into ropes that just fall and pile on the ground.
Whoa.
Awesome.
Whoa.
Now, when that happens, there are still other webs around in the forest.
Sure.
You start seeing them get tense. Maybe some of them pluck a little bit. And then that skittering gets real loud as 3 of these massive dryad-looking alien creatures. They're like chitinous, but the body and head is this almost elf-like looking thing.
So
it's got long hair, kind of like a Lolth, a little bit like Lolth, but the eyes are more spider-like.
Okay.
They're those multi-plated spider eyes. Clearly an alien creature.
Yeah.
That these people have taken residence up in this forest.
Yeah. Super important question as it relates to them. Are they hot?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? Let's get a luck roll for that for sure. Is there a good reason it would happen? Johnny, tell me, are you sexually attracted to spiders?
Maybe these ones. That's all. That's why I'm asking.
Okay. Great. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to. Is there a good reason that you would be sexually attracted to spiders?
Regular spiders? No, not so much.
Okay, but anti-humanoid spiders. Okay, I'm gonna add a die. I'm gonna roll 2 die.
I mean, dryads, definitely.
Johnny, these are the most grotesque, ugly things you've ever seen in your entire life.
What you're saying is I'm attracted to them.
There's absolutely nothing sexy about these spiders at all.
I love in the fiction, for a split second, Johnny's like, oh, nah.
Is this? No, we gotta go.
Yeah, as they're getting closer, they're like, we gotta go around and just wait it out. Hang on.
Okay, now let's go. All right.
Nope.
What is the plan? To run? What are you guys doing? You're getting out of
Don't
there?
try to fight these things. It's terrifying. It's terrifying.
My plan is to run
All
for
right.
sure.
Yes, I think it would
Okay.
fall under act, for lack of a better category. But yeah, run.
Well, we are still in the obstacle set up by your travel plan. So
Okay.
the obstacle now is these giant wolf-like alien spiders. I'm going to create a 6-segment clock called Runaway.
Okay.
I want to know what you do as these 3 giant dryad-like spiders just start barreling towards you, shrieking.
Oh, no.
So we're running through a forest, right?
Mm-hmm. A very dense,
A
foggy
very dense,
forest.
foggy forest. What I'm saying is humans aren't particularly great at, traversing a forest, especially running away from something with great speed. Primates, on the other hand,
Which humans are.
we
yeah,
are primates, but I see where you're going.
tiny little primates that can jump real high.
So there
Then
are better
throw-
primates.
Chuck the marmoset grenade on the ground right in front of us.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The best
Could be our
part of
best
this.
chance.
The best part of this is that technically it's it's weird tech, right?
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, it's gone. Okay, all right.
Also, let me say, because I did a little bit of research and I was definitely wrong last week. Humans have an average running speed of about 8 to 9 miles an hour. Marmosets can run 24 miles an hour.
Oh
So-
yeah! Whoa!
Wow. Hey, I'm gonna read this too. This is weird tech, alien weird tech, laser guns, shrink rays, propulsor packs, and so forth. These often recharge automatically and rarely require consumables to function. So I think it's not necessarily just like a grenade, as it is like a button. It like unfurls,
Ooh.
and then you press a button, and it lets out this shockwave that turns the 3 of you into
This
marmosets.
is my favorite piece of technology ever.
And why did they make it? Why did the aliens make this?
They have great taste.
What use was it?
It's just it was during that 60 top at the restaurant you worked at, Danny worked at.
It's
And aliens just made it drunk. They're like, hey, watch what I can do. I can turn everybody in here into marmosets. Watch.
Justin, these
gonna
aren't
believe
just
this.
utilitarians. What if they love
right.
art and this is art to them?
Here,
This is
Here's
the
what
alien
here's what
Mona
I'm-
Lisa.
here's what I'm gonna say. It's not a consumable in the sense that you're gonna run out of it eventually. It is a once a day thing though. You're gonna have to wait till tomorrow for it to recharge.
Okay.
Wait, are we stuck?
All right.
Are we stuck
Okay.
marmosets until tomorrow then?
No,
No, I think you said an
last
hour,
week I said
right?
an
Oh,
hour,
okay,
yeah.
an hour.
An
okay.
hour.
Okay.
Okay. Some amount of time. I think the other thing too with this is that when you use it, I'll mark some time, right? If you tell me I'm waiting until we turned human to do something, I'm going to mark that time. Okay. But anyway, we can get to that when we get to it. Let's build your dice pool. 1 for sheer luck. Do you have any traits that will help you? I don't think
Alien
so.
tech sonar? No, probably not.
I don't think so.
Chef.
No. No.
This fictional Danny has butchered a marmoset.
Sneaky
No.
applies insofar as we have any chance at some point to try to get away.
But
But if
Danny
it's
is rolling.
if it's just a sprint and I can't
Danny is
So
support,
wait, can he not lend his sneaky
he can assist
through
when
stress?
we can do that when we get to it.
Okay.
You have no injuries or fears. Do
Right
you
now,
wanna-
is this just rolling for activating the device?
Yep.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, pretty much. And like what that does, because again, it's weird tech. Who knows what it's actually going to do?
Oh, God.
Like, there could be some unforeseen consequences. Do you want to push yourself or take a GM consequence?
Yeah, I'll push myself.
Okay, mark that 2 stress. Take an extra die. You got 2 die now.
5 stress now.
Do you want to assist? Obviously, this is not you like turning into the running away after you become marmosets. This is like the device being activated and hoping that that'll help you get away a little bit.
Mhm.
So there might be some I might mark some on the segment clock for sure, but you're still going to have to do other stuff to get away completely.
Yep.
Does anyone want to assist? What do they do?
In the transformation to marmoset,
In this moment, yes, where Danny hits his marmoset grenade button.
oof.
Marmoset
can, that's
suicide
fine.
vest trigger.
No.
I'm doubtful that anyone can help. So
It's all good.
I think, Dean, you're just rolling with the 2 dice. Yeah,
2 dice. 2 dice or not 2 dice?
That is the question.
A 2 and a 5.
Okay. All right. So you can back off or accept 1 consequence as described by the GM.
Would backing off be like, oh, never mind, we're still human. We gotta figure this out as humans.
Yeah, it might be. It might be like it's a dud today, right? Didn't do what he wanted it to.
Be a dud.
Okay, so you're gonna accept a consequence?
Except I want to be a marmoset. I just want to be a marmoset, Justin.
There's nothing more important than being a marmoset.
Look, we're ending it after today, right? Wherever you guys end up at the end of this apocalypse is where we end today.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go hard.
Yes, you must.
You marma
The
must.
button is hit. I must. You hit the button. The shockwave goes out. It passes through these wolf-like spiders. They kind of look confused for a moment, but the 3 of you feel something changing inside of you. Your insides and your bodies start shifting, and it's almost like there's like water underneath your skin. It's like rippling almost, and then it starts to like shrink. Fur starts sprouting out from your skin, and before you know it, you are looking up now at these giant spiders. You have been turned into marmosets.
25 miles per hour, let's go!
I have a very important question.
What's up?
Did we like shrink out of our clothes? Like, are we gonna lose all of our stuff?
Yeah, I think that would be too much of a handicap. So your equipment, your clothes, your whatnot. Now? It's marmoseted, yes.
Yeah. Marmosized?
Yeah. Marmosized.
Well, that's adorable.
Johnny, Steve, do you go running away?
Yes. The fact that I feel myself shifting doesn't change that I'm running.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a couple things. You run away. I'm gonna mark 2. I didn't tell you what the position and effect were. I think it is a risky position. And I think it's the usual effect. So I marked 2 on the 6-segment clock of running away.
Awesome.
That means that I get to introduce 2 consequences, though, because it's a risky thing. So here is what happens. I'm going to create another clock. I'm going to tell you what that clock is in just a moment.
Just juggling so many clocks. Clock juggler.
Dude is counting like the count.
The clock master.
Call me the clock master. Call me the count. Johnny and Steve, you run away. And you run for a little bit, and you realize that Danny is not following you.
What an upsetting but permanent loss. We shall warn him.
Danny,
Jesus.
being this close to that much raw marmoset energy has stunned your biological faculties, but for a moment.
I went full marmoset.
You went full marmoset, and it is going to take you a moment to get back to being Danny. And in that moment, you can still kind of feel as these spiders scurry up next to you and start spinning their web around you. I've created a 4-segment clock called Spiders Eat Danny.
Johnny, we got to go back. I say in a marmoset voice.
What happened was Johnny and Steve just started running away, but since I went full marmoset, I'm just sitting there itching my head with my hind leg.
And I'm going to mark a segment on the clock.
Oh.
So, Johnny and Steve, what do you do?
Okay, you're right, Steve. We got to go back.
I just want to make sure I'm being faithful to the sheet here because I know I've marked fuel degradation last time, meds for the transparency phasing issue, and snacks once during rest. But did I pull out a tool?
You did.
Right?
You pulled out a...
It was a gun? Or no?
No, it was
a
a gardening tool.
It was a machete.
A machete.
That's right.
Yep. It was. Yep.
Yeah, some gardening you do, man. If you think that's a gardening tool, you're right. But still, I guess I draw the machete and charge full marm. You know.
So you go
full marm.
Tiny little machete. Tiny little marmoset machete.
To them, it's just a butter knife. He's just charging with a butter knife.
I would like to narrate. I'd like to supply to the fiction that the machete did not shrink. So I'm just very small for the sword that I'm wielding.
It's a great sword,
right.
though.
For me, it is.
Okay. All right. Are you saying that you have human strength?
I mean, if we're talking a typical marmoset, it's very strong. It can handle a machete. So
okay. All right.
I joked about pygmy marmosets last time. If we're those, we're not going at 25 miles an hour. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. True marmoset. Well, marmoset, not a pygmy marmoset.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Steve, you're just charging at one of these things with your machete?
Yeah, whatever's trying to spin a web around my Danny boy, I'm gonna just machete that sucker.
It is a combo of all three of them. They're kind of circled around Danny and you're spinning a web around him. So you're going for one of them. Why don't you I think that is definitely a risky position. For sure. And I think I kind of want to go low effect.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think for a few reasons. I mean, they're like big chitinous armored spiders, and you're a tiny little marmoset. Like, sure, you've got a regular sized machete, but like, what? Tell me a world in which a marmoset, even with opposable thumbs, swinging a machete at a giant sized spider is going to do like typical damage to that thing.
It's all on the flick of the wrist, Justin.
All right. Okay.
Are there
right.
upper bodies, like the more human looking parts of them? Are those armored as well?
Exposed?
Or is that?
Those are, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah. They weren't, but then when we rolled poorly on that luck roll for them to be the opposite of sexy, I was like, well, no, now the human part is armored too.
It's definitely not sexy armor. It's very unfortunate.
No. It's still like spider like plating.
Yeah.
All right. I will give you a risky position with usual effect.
Yes. This marm is about to do some harm.
One die for sheer luck. Do you have any traits that you think will help you? I don't think so.
Not in this case. It's just a direct confrontation.
Do you have any traits that would hinder you though?
I don't feel any empathy for them. You use that against me when they looked like my literal family members as aliens.
All right.
These guys are too ugly for empathy.
Hey.
Maybe they were sexy.
You do have an injury.
You could make me phase at the wrong moment as a consequence.
I absolutely can. So I do. I think take that dice away.
Okay.
So now you're rolling with 0 dice.
Oh, 0. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to push yourself or take a consequence?
I'll push myself. Yeah. Let's get stressed.
Okay. So take a die. Take that 2 stress.
Yeah.
Johnny, do you want to help or you want to do something of your own after this?
I'm going to do something of my own.
All right. So you are rolling with 1 die, my friend.
All right. Here it goes. 5. Hey.
Okay. All right.
Did I find a little chink in the armor?
Yeah, so you'll do 2 damage. I think I'm gonna We're gonna call this a defeat spiders clock with 6 segments.
I just heard segments and thought of eggs. Spider eggs.
Oh, gross.
Gross.
Now, obviously, you can back off and not do this damage to it, and accept a consequence, or accept a consequence. So you can back off or you can
I'm taking a
accomplish this.
consequence. Otherwise, I'm not doing
Okay.
anything for Danny.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take it a little easy. It's still a machete. You swing this thing and it takes you a little bit. You're having to hack at one of the legs a little bit to get it cut off, but eventually it does. It topples over and starts to fall down.
Yes.
Green blood is squirting out of its leg. I would like for you to degrade your machete, though.
Oh no! Does it seem like it's acidic or something? This green stuff?
Yeah. It gets on there for a little bit, and you wipe it off quickly, but like not enough before it does some damage.
That is
Nice.
gravely concerning if it can ruin metal like that speed. Oh my goodness. Okay.
These are xenomorphs.
And now they've circled all the way back around to sexy.
And now there's sexy again.
It all goes full circle. It all comes full sexy.
All right, I'll mark one degradation.
Spiders. Mark that degradation on the machete. Johnny, what do you want to do?
Man, I am gonna pull out my slingshot and fire one of my pieces of alien ammo at the one that was not just attacked by Steve.
Ooh.
Okay. Trying to do some damage to it, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to F this thing up.
I think it's I think it's definitely a risky position, and we'll say the usual effect.
Cool.
So 1 die for sure luck. Any traits that'll help you think?
I don't think any of my traits are honestly helpful in this situation.
I don't think so. But I also don't think any of them hinder you. So I'm fine with that. You have no injuries or fears. Do you want to push yourself or take consequence?
I am going to mark stress.
Okay. Mark that stress. Take another die. Steve has done something, so I would say he cannot help you right now.
A little busy.
You roll those 2 dice. Let's see what you get.
I got a 1 and a 6.
Okay.
Okay, so you got a 6.
Yep.
This I will mark 2 more on this segment, on the 6 segment clock. You've hit now the one that's like on the right. Steve chopped the legs off of the one on the left. You pull back this tiny little marmoset sized slingshot with these like blinking pellets almost. And fire one of these things at it. It's weird tech, yes?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. It hits the spider and then all of a sudden there is just it's almost like a field of butterflies. Just the spider just turns into like hundreds of butterflies that go fluttering away.
Oh, beautiful.
That is beautiful.
It's at this point, Danny, that you come to.
I just thought
you are
licking my
suspended. You're suspended in the air, and you are being turned around as this web is spinning around you. What do you do?
I immediately understand what Danny means when he says that.
Of course. Yeah.
Wait, we speak Marmoset, but we understand each other.
Yes.
Yeah. You because you all speak Marmoset.
All right, so I go,
just say it in English, and anything that they say at this point is in Marmoset.
So I go, and in English that means, guys, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. It all flashed before my eyes. I went full Marmoset.
It's okay, Danny. We're gonna get you down.
And then I go, oh. And in English, that's, I'm so thankful that I'm here with you guys. There's no 2 people I'd rather be with in this situation. There's still a spider left, isn't there?
There is.
Mm-hmm. There's 2.
Oh yeah, there's one with a gushy leg, and then there's another one that's untouched, and then there's butterflies.
Yep.
Can I get to my now 3-foot long claymore?
It's gonna be a little bit more, maybe potentially desperate or less effect.
Yeah, you said I'm hanging and I'm suspended.
Yeah, you're like suspended in air. You know how spiders will like pick you up with their legs and then spin you around through their legs.
All right. Can I try to pull out the marmoset-sized claymore and start hacking away at whatever's around me to try to get myself free?
Yeah. I think it's a desperate position, but it is a usual effect.
Okay.
Well, well, you know what? Yeah. Usual effect. Yep.
Okay.
I believe in you, Danny.
So,
one die for sheer luck. Any traits you think will help? Chef?
Chef?
Yeah,
hacking away at things.
Okay. Sure. So take 3 die, right? You had a die for each dice.
Yeah.
It's good to
So
be
you're
a
rolling with
chef.
4 dice.
It's gonna be a chef
Um,
of the apocalypse.
Any traits hinder you? I don't think so. No injuries or fears. Do you want to push yourself or take a consequence?
No, I'll go to 6 stress. Why not?
Okay. All right. Okay. I love this
Oh, yeah.
because you guys still have to get fuel at the hardware store.
Still stressed.
That's all we were trying to do was go to the
We can
hardware
get there
store.
faster with marmoset, so we'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is what it's like every time I go to Home Depot. I don't know what you guys do.
You run into a couple spiders that could be sexy,
But turn out to definitely not be.
definitely not.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm rolling 4 dice.
You're rolling 4 dice.
Do it.
Whoa. There's a 5. The 5 is the highest one.
5.
I discount the highest
Okay.
one, right? When I do this.
Yeah. So here's what I think it is. You can back off. Otherwise, I'm not going to add anything to the defeat spiders clock. You'll get free, but you'll basically just be cutting through the webs and getting free.
I'm down.
Okay. All right.
I'm down for that.
That's progress.
That's progress. Yeah.
Yep.
We're not filling the defeat spiders clock, but we're avoiding filling the Danny gets eaten by spiders clock. So.
It's true. I still have that though, so I'm just waiting for a bad roll. Just waiting for a bad roll. I could also just add it as a consequence too. Why can't they be sexy spiders?
They could still eat you.
Maybe Johnny can turn them into sexy spiders. Steve, what do you want to do? You see Danny fall down from where he was in the air.
Yeah. So if my machete could cut through with a few hacks into this leg, and this leg's acid could almost instantaneously damage metal, I'm thinking that the stuff inside them will damage what's outside of them. So I'm going to jump on a spider, and I'm going to aim the remains of its leg as a freaking green juice cannon at the other spider.
Okay. I definitely think that this is risky for sure. And I will say that it is low effect.
Sounds good.
It is low effect.
This is like being like, I have 2 glass jars full of acid. If I open this glass jar full of acid and pour it on top of that glass jar full of acid, the glass that's holding that acid will melt.
Maybe that's the case.
Poor
Maybe
analogy, but I see what you're doing.
Maybe
All
these
right,
are
let's
just
see the
poorly
roll.
evolved alien spiders.
Johnny, hence me saying it is low effect and not usual effect.
Fair enough.
So 1 die for sheer luck. I don't think any of your traits are going to help you. I don't think any of your traits are going to hinder you.
Yep.
You do have an injury.
6.
So
Oh,
you rolled a 6 though?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You see this acid hit that spider that's like you chopped off, and like it starts to sizzle and steam and whatnot, and the spider looks more like annoyed, like it's thrown off by that this thing is on it, so it like provides you with an opportunity to like follow up and attack with something else, but it is confused enough that it takes its attention away from the 3 of you. Johnny, what are you doing?
Hi. Can I just shoot another? I'm gonna shoot another thing at another spider.
Well said.
Yeah.
All right.
Eloquent.
We said risky position last time. I think
And normal
risky
effect.
position,
Standard or whatever.
normal effect. Yep.
Last time it was 2
no
dice.
trait set.
I'm not going to mark any stress
2
this time,
dice.
so I'm just going to get 1 unless something
Just the
else has
1
changed.
dice then. Okay. Yep. No.
Okay. I got a 2.
That's your
A 2, huh? All right.
Should have gone with the green juice cannon idea.
yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Let me
Classic
move from my
Vegas.
safe position at a distance to get close to the acid, so I can aim the acid at a thing that was not hurt by the acid.
I want to make this. I want to make this scary. I want to make this spooky. I also, one of my touchstones for this was "This is the end." And if you've watched that movie, absolutely terrible things happen to those actors. It's just so gross and gory.
Yeah, do something
So-
terrible to me, Justin.
It won't be you. You
Aw.
hit this thing, and it does nothing. It just hits its head, and
That was just a rock.
like shatters as though a tiny little pebble. Exactly. It's like a tiny little pebble just hits its head, and it turns to you. And for a moment, it looks like it's going to come at you. And then it turns to Danny on the floor and just starts spinning more webs around Danny, even though he is on the floor. I'm going to mark 2 because it's a risky. I get to do 2 consequences. And I'm going to pick that I mark 2 on the spider seat Danny clock.
So I have 1 left.
You have 1 left. Yep.
That's fine. Like I said, I'd willingly
You have 1
sacrifice
left.
myself to get to this hardware store.
Now, here's
Okay.
the question: is
You might happen.
at this point, I'm starting to wonder, like, how much do I actually act as I would in real life?
Sure, yeah. If Johnny would bounce, Johnny bounces.
Oh no. My empathy is going to be a great hindrance here.
So I go, "Ooh, ooh," and in English, that's Johnny. Go on without me. Run. Make it to the hardware store. Get the fuel. Get the sleepy eye for me, Daddy.
In English, I just go, okay.
If somehow Danny makes it out of this, I marked another on the Danny and Johnny F 8-7 clock. Now, Danny, I want to know what you do. I think almost anything that you are going to do is going to be a desperate position
So-
and low effect because you're being now spun again.
Because I'm being spun again, but my face is still
Yep.
visible.
Yep.
And as a last ditch attempt, hoping that it somehow throws off guard or confuses these spiders, I'm gonna look up and open my mouth and start doing my built-in alien sonar thing.
It would glow.
So your
They are-
intent is to just confuse them?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they like it.
Maybe scare them away.
Maybe scare them away. I'm hoping.
Part of me
Part
of me wants to just say that this is no effect.
I'm hoping that
but-
there may be some alien tech nearby, so my tongue starts glowing green.
Okay.
They think
I
he's
think it's a
charging up for a spirit attack.
I think it's desperate. I think it's desperate, and I think it's low effect.
Okay.
So you have 1 die.
Okay.
Now, before you say anything, I don't think your traits help you. Yes, you are using your tongue, but I don't think it actually helps you to scare
you're right.
them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Its intent is to detect alien, but like you don't have any traits that help you intimidate people.
You're right. Okay.
I don't think you have any injury fears. You can take a consequence or push yourself.
I'm pushing myself.
Okay, what are you at? 8 stress now?
I'm at 7 stress.
7 stress. Okay. So 2 dice.
2 dice. Okay. I got a 3 and a 6. I was really hoping for
Okay.
the 2 6s. That would have been a perfect
Sure,
moment to pick
yeah.
that, but
Okay.
it's fine. This works, right?
Well, I have some good news. Because even with a low effect, you mark 1 segment on a clock. as you're being spun around by the spider being webbed, you all see as it quickly is spinning this web up Danny's body. It's getting to the point where it's starting to overtake his head as well. And you just see a little blue light stick out. And these spiders drop Danny's body. And they go scurrying out away into the forest. Danny, if you had seen, if you had any clue of what a terrified spider looks like, this is terrifying.
Remarkably similar to
so
a not
scary.
terrified spider.
Remarkably similar. What were they scared of, though? Was it actually your tongue, or was it something that
If it's one of those situations, I swear. Yeah, it's Steve, let me free, please.
On it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm already like 50 to 100 yards away, like still just sprinting the opposite
speed.
direction.
You called out to the right person. Justin,
Yes.
examining the acidic green juice that is trailing all over the place.
Yeah.
Can I,
yeah.
once I cut Danny free, can I cautiously try to get some into a glass bottle and see if it melts through glass?
So, yes, you can. It does not. Well, let's.
You have a
No,
glass
I'll say it does not. Yeah. Do you have a glass bottle?
Why not? Am I going to?
Do you have a glass bottle?
Yes.
Do you have your inventory? Do you have your inventory slots? Is one of those inventory slots a glass bottle? That's the thing. You can't just say you have stuff in this.
Oh,
Once you've filled up
okay.
your inventory slots,
Oh, so it would be
That's
like
what
a
you've got.
So that
tool,
would
a
have
tool or
been
something?
that would have had to be tools, and I don't have a free tool.
you do not have
In
a free
other words,
tool.
I have zero other relevant equipment.
Correct. Those are
terrible.
the four. Those are the four things that you have.
I have a snack. What if that's a Fanta bottle?
Which is plastic.
I don't want
No,
plastic.
a glass
Oh,
Fanta
glass Fanta
bottle.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Better chug that quick.
I mean,
What do you say, GM? Snack time?
If you have an extra snack,
I
you
do.
can. Yeah. You're gonna chug all of it.
Chug the Fanta, Danny.
yeah, I see Steve looking
Okay.
around for something, and I say, all right, this must be important. So I grab a Fanta, a marmoset-sized Fanta. Chugging the Fanta. I spin it and I vortex it. I know I can do that because I've done it in real life. And I vortex it.
Okay. I will say that are not going to get any of the benefits of
That
eating a
makes
snack. Okay, because you're basically just wasting this.
Dang.
Snark
to
into a
put
tool.
this in. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can just empty that inventory slot then?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can fill it. You can fill it with a consumable, which we can call dryad spider poison.
Yes.
Wait, is it poison or is it acid?
Acid. Sorry. Dryad spider
Spider
acid.
acid.
Blood.
Mm.
Blood acid. Acid blood.
Drider acid.
Dryaders blast.
Splatters. Splatter bladders.
Splucid.
What's happening?
Dried or splucid?
All right, 25 miles per hour. Let's go.
Let's go.
Well, and that is the thing. Your plan was to get to that square, and so you do. However,
Is there any like a hexahedavus?
maybe, but either way, Johnny, you catch up to him at some point.
When you get to the spot, because I'm not stopping to wait for you guys.
Well, then Johnny would have seen this first, but we'll just say, for the sake of argument, you can respond to it all together once you're there. When you get to this hardware store, before you decide what your plan is, whether either to search or to look out or to leave if you want to, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this back there. That way sorry, I'm going to move your car back to where you left it so you know where it is. But you're at the hardware store. There are patrols of like the classic looking like gray aliens around this hardware store.
What do we know about the gray aliens?
You know that they were alongside the, what is it called? The like United Star Federation. They were like the diplomat ones that were like presented themselves to humanity as allies and helpers of the problem with the kaiju.
Okay.
So they are probably the ones that like you saw first when aliens came down, and also would have seen them first betray and turn on humanity as well too.
Okay.
And as you're looking to, you can see that they're making, they have like a dock out back next to Lake Petramore. And if you spend even just a moment looking, you can see that all of these boats go north, further into the lake. And it is at this point you are here. What it has cost you is that you would have gotten here in time to have your run of the store completely unimpeded. But the cost is that these aliens set up before you could get to the store before they could. And so now I need to know what your plan is. You are on the Hex with the hardware store. You are unseen, but you need to decide what you want to do. Do you want to search? Do you want to act? Do you want to look out?
How much marmoset time do we have left?
That's an excellent question.
I'll leave that up to you. If you want to stay as marmosets, you know what I'll do? I'll create an clock for that. How about that?
Nice.
I love plots. I'll say there's 4 segments on this clock.
Okay. And so these, I want to make sure I have an accurate picture here. So these aliens are doing stuff around the hardware store, but like taking items to ships on the water and
yes.
Okay.
And going north.
Going north.
That's in the direction of the USS Constitution.
So is this a group thing? We have to decide what we're doing together, or could we do individual stuff?
No, at this your plan is over, so I need to know what your next plan is.
Okay.
As a group.
As a group.
And you can discuss it in character. Yeah. That's fine
so
too.
We need to get gas and maybe some other supplies. We need to get around these aliens. Do we create diversion? Because I don't think we could take them.
I agree. I can be the diversion.
Well, I have an idea that might work if I can get to the water.
What are you thinking?
Well, so we just had some interesting experience with acid. I don't just wonder if maybe I could turn this whole body of water into that.
Oh. I do not disagree that would distract them. I also can't think of a more dramatic distraction, so probably would pull everyone's attention to dealing with that problem.
Yeah, and that big kaiju was coming towards the water, so maybe that would help with that too. 2 birds.
I think you should do it because it's cool.
Very good. That's the plan.
All right.
So it sounds like you are acting.
Yeah.
That is the plan. All right. I do want to know what Danny and Steve are doing. What is your plan once, as Johnny goes to do this, what are the 2 of you doing?
I'm queuing up as close as I can to the spot from which I sprint to the store for a raid.
Yeah,
okay.
As soon as a spot opens up.
At least one of you should be acting as lookout while I'm trying to do this so we don't get caught.
So just one person is going to go in.
How about since I'm stealthy? Well, actually, I could see it going either way. You could want a stealthy lookout or a stealthy raider.
Well, my thought was that we would do this And then we would go and scavenge once they're distracted. Like, I'm not going to stay here at the water once it's acid.
So the full plan is
Yeah.
just distract them.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing. This is how to distract them and get the fuel out from the hardware store.
Yep. Okay.
That is
Okay.
because your plan ultimately is to get the fuel out of the hardware store. The way you're going about that is by distracting them.
And that can
But
include
we still need to also have
secondary
you.
actions. Yeah.
Absolutely, of
Yeah.
course. So now that we have the general plan, which is to distract them by turning the lake into acid so that someone can get in and actually get the fuel,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to set up the engagement roll, right? Which is going to tell us, like, are you in a good position to do
Gotcha.
that?
Okay, then
Sure.
yeah, I think Steve, you should be the one to sneak in because if you're stealthy, you can get yourself into position before I even turn the lake, and then once there's the commotion because the lake has turned, you can get in and start getting the supplies.
Okay.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Do you have any traits that you think will help you?
Stealthy for sure.
Stealthy, yeah. So I'm going to add 3 dice for that.
I would like an extra dice for my portion if it comes to it regarding being a monkey.
I
I mean,
that we can have that come into play as you making actions. This is just we'll just say that this is the engagement roll.
Cool.
To set up the whole plan.
Cool.
So with 3 die for leadership, for stealthy. Any other traits you think would help you?
I think as it relates to the entirety of the plan, resourceful.
Yeah, resourceful. I would say either resourceful or leadership. I don't know if both of those, because they're kind of. I will say I think with all this alien tech being around, Danny's alien tech sonar is a hindrance in this case.
Yeah, doesn't really help.
So I'm gonna
even though I'm keeping lookout.
I'm gonna take 3 dice away for that. Any other things you think would help or hinder you? I think that about covers all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think you have any injuries or fears that impact you with just the engagement roll and the setup. So I'm not going to take any for that. And you can only spend 1 time. So I've already marked the time to do this, and we're going to roll.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
What happened?
Can I willingly take a fear to misforce you to re-roll?
I rolled. No. I'm going to keep it because it's fun. It's dramatic. I rolled 2 2s and a 1.
Solid.
Which means it's another time in which a world-shattering event arrives.
Oh my god.
But you won't achieve your goal. It's a waste of time.
No.
No.
How does anyone survive the apocalypse?
Oh, a world-shattering event arrives. What is that world-shattering event? Oh. That makes sense.
Of course.
Certainly.
Yeah,
I agree.
Johnny, you get to the lake and reach your hand into it sneakily to turn some of it to acid. And as you start to do that, you can start to see that some of it is turning from water into acid. The ground starts shaking and rumbling. And then over the treetops, that same giant tree kaiju is walking towards this lake. And as it gets close to the lake, it puts its tree stalk into the lake, starts absorbing the water. And as it does that, the ground continues to rumble and shake and split apart as trees just start jutting out of the split earth. It is like a massive earthquake as the ground is literally being torn apart and replaced with a forest.
He's literally shattering the earth with this earth.
He's
shattering
literally shattering the earth.
These kaiju are bad business. Is this the
wanna
distraction we
know.
needed, though?
So there's no ground where the
mean-
trees are? I'm very confused about this image.
There's no ground?
You said that the earth is
What?
split apart and then trees are coming and he's
Yeah.
replacing the earth with a forest. But forest.
Yeah, so like it's almost like he's creating a forest under the ground, and that forest is like pushing up through the crust of the earth and coming out here.
Okay. The way you described it initially, I was picturing like a void with trees floating in it.
No. So like imagine an earthquake and the ground is splitting apart, and like as that splits, it's splitting apart because these giant sequoia-like trees are jutting through the crust of the earth and pushing themselves out.
Yeah. The world is turning into a giant chia pet.
The world is turning into a giant chia pet. Very good, Danny. Thank you.
So the water in the lake is gone? Is that?
He's starting to drain it into himself. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Since I'm on lookout, I say I see something.
Yes, Danny. What did you see on your lookout?
Pointing at the kaiju.
Justin, I don't think this changes the plan unless the earthquake just ruins the whole store.
Well, it does. He said it makes it so our plan it doesn't work. It was a waste of time, is what he just said.
Yeah, it was a waste of time. I think, Steve, if you can tell me right now what you do to desperately try and get some fuel, you might be able to get some fuel out of this.
This monkey is just sprinting into the depot.
Okay.
The aliens have got more to deal with an earthquake and an ent and
Since this is happening too, are there any cars outside of the hardware store?
Let's roll a luck die.
may not have to go back to the F-150.
Yeah, you might not, but then you're still going to have to figure out the fuel thing.
Yeah.
Where is the luck die?
Wait, so if there's a car here, it just doesn't have fuel by default, or?
No. There are cars here. There's two. There are two cars here. One is this like really beat up like old car, probably not super taken care of. And I will just tell you now that one has quite a bit of fuel left in it. We'll say it has 3 fuel in it. There is a sports car that looks well maintained, looks like it could go very, very fast. That only has a little bit of fuel in it.
Typical.
Yep.
Those guzzlers.
So when it comes to it, if you do decide to do that, you will have to decide which car to take. Steve, tell me what you do to like look around. Like, how are you looking quickly? How are you trying to like locate this fuel and get out of there as fast as possible?
Well, I mean, using my incredible marmoset skills, I look at the signage inside of the store and I go towards anything related to vehicles, car care. Sometimes there's like, depending on the size of the store, like if it's, like if it's a hardware store, usually it's on the front left side.
Because we all know that a marmoset's greatest skill is their ability to read English.
Yeah. Since it's still me.
I think that given this world-shattering event, this is still a desperate action.
Sure.
So you are literally just like, I'm
shopping during an earthquake.
I'm grabbing. Yeah, right. Exactly. It's desperate for sure. But I'll say usual effect.
Awesome.
I'll say usual effect.
Good. I brought coupons as well. So
one die. Do you think sneaky is going to help you?
Not really. I'm not sneaking. I'm just
really.
Sprinting while everybody else is distracted. So
I don't think any traits are going to hinder you though, so that's good news there.
Yeah, I got
you want to push your. I'm going to make you take that die away though for your injury.
Man, it's just perpetual. I'm phasing, so I can't do anything.
Look. I get to decide when it triggers, and I say that in between the last time you rolled and now it's triggering right now.
It's a bummer time to phase right now. I'm like monkeying through the store, and just all of a sudden I'm like half of myself, and then I'm complete again. All right, so I'll push myself. I'm now at 7 out of 9 stress. Oh, I can think of great times to phase.
Yeah, talk to Kitty Pride.
5.
Well, what she does isn't phasing in and out of existence. She just becomes Immaterial.
Sure. She phases through things. Sure. Potato.
Phase.
It's like potato,
Phase.
tomato.
Phase the phase.
But
Phase the
okay.
phase.
It's not
Potato,
a phase.
tomato. So you can back off or accept a consequence.
Bring it. Consequence.
Okay. You do. You find the section where the fuel is marked, and are able to grab like an already filled jug of fuel. Okay. I'm not going to be too much of a stickler because you're just going to bring it back to the car and can use it there. So you can carry the fuel. That's fine. You just can't use it right now because you don't have the inventory slots for it. But I'll say that you found the fuel. Here's the problem, though. This store is quickly collapsing in the midst of this earth-shattering event. So I'm going to set a very aggressive clock called Buried in Rubble.
Oh no.
Oh God! Why did I think you were gonna say the store is closed, so you can't check out? What do you do?
There's nobody to take your money at the
You
cashier.
have to go to self checkout, but there's no power.
No, the store is quickly disintegrating, cutting off most of your exits. In fact, the front exit is completely cut off. There's now rubble in front of it. You're going to have to find another way out of the store, and in 4 segments, you will be buried alive.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a hardware store. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you got some time to think about it.
Should
I'd
we
like to know
switch
what
to someone
Johnny
else,
and
though?
Danny
Yeah.
are up to.
Yep.
I was like, I would like to know what Johnny and Danny are up to.
I'm pretty sure I see the front entrance get covered in rubble.
Absolutely, yes.
As soon as I see that, knowing Steve is in there, can I grab the Fanta bottle of spider acid and chuck it at one of the walls of the hardware store and make a hole? A perfectly marmoset-sized hole?
Steve's bottle of acid, though? Because you
We
gave
added
him
it
the
to my
bottle.
inventory.
Are you putting it in your
No.
inventory?
Well, I think
You don't
Justin,
have an inventory slot, though. You did not have an inventory slot. For it. It was
see.
Danny's snack.
It was my
So
Flacco,
Danny
right?
had it. Yes, Danny has it. Yes,
Huh.
yes.
Very well.
I was following the fiction with you. Danny has it. You only have those 4 inventory slots. If you want to use something that is outside of those 4 inventory slots, you cannot.
You have to cut off your own
Right,
arm.
I thought that Steve was just
have to
carrying it.
cut.
I was not insinuating that he had acid to use, just that he had
gotcha.
acid.
Yeah. I had assumed that Danny was carrying it since Danny could use it theoretically.
I guess we could have made that more clear. We could have talked. We could have
It's
talked
fine.
about it.
I'm following you, and we're deciding it now. We're deciding that you let Danny hold on to it because Danny had the
Cool.
inventory slot for it.
Yep.
Danny, this is a risky position for we'll say usual effect.
Okay.
We'll say usual effect. I don't think any traits help or hinder you,
As a chef,
Danny.
oftentimes you got to toss things into trash cans that are like on the other side of
No.
the line.
Absolutely
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay.
Danny, I want you to be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
You're just trying. No, no. Come on.
I've never been more honest with myself than I am now, Justin.
All right. I don't believe you. For a minute, I don't believe you.
I don't believe me. All right, what am I rolling? One die.
Okay. Yeah, no injuries or fears unless you push yourself or take a
I'm
consequence.
gonna push myself. I'm going to 7 stress, 8 stress.
Wow.
That's too nice.
8 stress, boy, howdy.
All this for fuel.
8 stress, boy, howdy.
8 stress, boy, howdy.
Ooh, a 1 and a 6.
Woo. Good thing you rolled that 6 there. You toss this. I want you to unmark that. I think that completely gets rid of it. There's no way you were saving that at all.
And
So
I have a free inventory spot.
you have a free inventory slot. You can take that fuel, I guess.
I'm gonna chuck
And
fuel for chance I get.
here's what I'll say. The 4-segment clock is still in play because Steve is going to have to find some way to find that hole and navigate towards it, right? But like on the side of the wall, there is now a bit of a hole in the wall that Steve could fit through.
And I'm seeing
Now, I will say, as the store is quickly collapsing, that hole might disappear at some point.
I'm just gonna yell, "Oh, Steve! Oh!"
Definitely have no
Should I
idea what
start
that
it?
means. You think about another clock, Justin?
Yeah, does that start a Danny and Steve?
No.
No? Okay, all right. That's fine. Okay, that's fine.
No, please stop, please.
No, okay. Johnny, what are you doing?
Yeah, so since civilization began to fall and we haven't been able to watch much TV or movies, the Phantom Menace has always been top of mind for me through all of this. And
As it should be.
yes, and so I look at Danny as he's doing all of this stuff, and I just say, "There's always a bigger fish," and then I will try to turn myself into something bigger than the end kaiju.
To a bigger fish.
Bigger than that? Whoa.
But still
right.
looks like a marmoset. Just a giant freaking marmoset.
Love it.
Sean,
Yes.
but he's a marmoset.
I love it. Okay. Desperate position
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna say a low effect.
Cool.
In other words, like I don't think you're gonna be able to hold this form for very long if you can accomplish
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I feel desperate and low, so let's do this.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many dice do I get? If I mark stress, do I get 2?
One for yes, if you mark stress, you'd get 2 because I don't think any traits help
Yeah.
or hinder you. Two sixes. No. What?
You're kidding. I'm not. I'm
All
so
right.
happy. These are my favorite dice.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Then I will say that bumps it up to the usual effect, which means that I think for pretty much the rest of this obstacle and encounter, you can be in giant marmoset mode.
Awesome.
God.
Amazing.
Danny, your little marmoset head turns around to tell Johnny what you've done. And then you look at him as he's by the lake. He's just concentrating with his eyes closed. And then before your very eyes, he just grows to even larger than the giant treant kaiju.
Let's go.
Tilting his head back.
Now, before we see, I kind of actually want to see what happens. Let's keep the spotlight on Johnny.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that
yeah.
now that I am like of a size with this thing, what does it actually look like?
Yeah. From this size, you can see it's like a giant tree. It really is like a giant ant. And then on its body are all of these other trees that are about normal sized trees growing out of its dirt skin, essentially.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up. I'm gonna rip one of these sequoias out of the ground.
Yeah.
And I like take it in my hands and I like with one hand I have like hold it like it's like a hilt and I just scrape all the branches off with the other hand.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna pull back and try to just like stab it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's a risky position, but I think a usual effect.
Awesome.
And let's one die for sheer luck.
Mhm. Could I use resourceful turning this tree into a weapon?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll give you the 3 dice
Okay.
for resourceful.
Amazing.
Let's make this 6. Go ahead and roll and tell me what you get.
Okay.
I'm just making a treat defeat clock.
So
6 segments.
my highest is 6.
Okay. All right. Your highest is 6.
2 4s,
So
a 5, and a 6.
Nice roll. You lean back and your giant marmoset paws just shove this tree like straight through like a kneecap essentially, and it kind of buckles down and falls. The ground that Danny and Steve are on like shatters a little bit as its knee just hits the ground. And you pull it out and it looks as though it's like clutching its knee before it kind of like gets back up really warily and turns its attention towards you. Steve, the store is falling as we speak. What do you do?
Aren't we all just marmosets scrambling to get out of stores as they fall apart?
Out of hardware stores.
Yeah. I passed by some like trash cans for sale, and I grab a lid and just hold it over my head while I scout for an exit. Do I find the hole that was made for me or anything else?
Let's you're just trying to look for another exit.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens. I mean, I think it's a desperate position. I think you got the usual effect though. You're just trying to look for a hole or a way out.
Yeah.
So a die for sheer luck. I don't know if any traits are going to help you or hinder you.
Yep.
And I'm not going to, I say injuries doesn't affect this at all. So you can push yourself or take a consequence if you want another die. But right now you're just rolling with 1 dice.
I'll push myself so that I'm at max stress.
Okay. If you wanted a 3rd dice, Danny could potentially take some stress and use your bond together.
We have a bond now.
How you feeling, Danny?
You have a bond?
Feeling like you want to get more stressed?
I'll go to max stress as well.
All right, let's
both at
get
max
stressed.
This is a very
Love
stressful
it.
situation.
So total
It's a
dice is
1, 2, 3 dice. 3 dice. Yep.
sounds right. Come on, dice. Okay.
Oh.
2, 3,
When you're done with this.
4.
4. All right. So you can back off or you can accept a consequence. What do you want to do?
Backing off sounds like the worst thing ever, so I accept the consequence and continue with my escape.
All right. So here is the consequence, and then we're going to get into something which I didn't know if was ever going to show up, but I think it did. The consequence is that as you're trying to like move through this rubble, some of it falls on you, and it stops you for a moment.
Yeah.
It lands on you. You get up and you keep going. I would like for you to take the level 1 injury, wounded.
Okay. Sad monkey.
Now I'm gonna read fear. Fear is a common response to the trauma of high stress. It's a pretty high stress situation. The kind that is very plentiful in a time of war. When you fill up on stress, not when you go over your stress. So I believe that means both Danny and Steve are going to take a fear.
Oh,
Wow.
I was mistaken.
So I would like for both of you to unmark all of your stress.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Steve, I would like for you to take the fear claustrophobia.
Oh. Okay.
And Danny, I would like for you to take the fear loss of a loved one.
Well, technically, it says on my bonds that I hate Steve.
Loss of a hated person.
Loss
That is
of
scary.
loss of a loathed one.
Loss of a loathed one. The problem is that's probably not going to come up as much as
Loss of a loathed / loved one.
Very good.
You say it's losing
okay.
people.
All right, sure. Losing people. Losing
I
people.
lost another enemy.
Loss of people.
What's
But
left to live for? If not vengeance?
You do find the hole, and I'll say that I think you're going to still need to do something to get out, but you have seen the hole that Danny has created. There's a number of like rubble and debris in the way, so you're gonna have to find a way to maneuver through that to get to the hole. But you see it; it's there.
Got it. Okay.
And I would like let's just stay with you for a moment. What do you do?
I mean, it's just going to be acrobatics essentially. I'm going to scamper across the rubble as best as I can, ditch the lid for extra speed, and dive.
Okay. Carrying the fuel, yes?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's risky. I think it's a low effect.
Okay.
Because you're carrying the fuel.
All right.
Do you want to push yourself again?
Sure. Now that I've
cleared your
stress.
stress. Yeah, now that you've cleared your stress.
Let's do it. All right. So 2d6.
Well, hold up, because you have the fear claustrophobia now.
Oh, no.
So let's see, what does having a fear take away?
My joy.
Identifear.
Will he get an extra die for having found Danny's hole?
Oh, jeez. Wait. Well, how do we want to do this? Then, after you take a fear, your character is in shock or otherwise despondent. They need a few moments to figure themselves out to get back on their feet.
Oh, it's bad timing.
So, that's really bad timing.
I think I get crushed by a building, y'all.
I think then, yeah, you see it. You got there and you saw the hole, and then you start to see this building start to collapse even more, and you just freeze, staring at your exit. Same with you, Danny. You're on the other side. You're seeing the building start to collapse.
And I see
and
Steve
in your mind,
through the hole.
Yeah,
I'm
through the hole.
standing there just staring.
You're just watching him as the two of you realize there is nothing that you can do.
No.
Giant Johnny Marmoset. What are you doing?
I mean,
Giant
all
Johnny
of this is so
Marmoset.
far beneath my notice. I'm a golden god now.
Absolutely.
And so I continue.
God.
I continue to attack this.
Okay. All right.
This guy.
How do you tell me how you attack while you're figuring that out? I have gone ahead and because of your pause, both of you have marked 2 segments on the buried in rubble clock.
Got it.
So I'm assuming that similar to when we returned into Marmosets, the things that I have grown with me.
Sure, why not?
Cool. I'm going to pull out a giant piece of ammo and just like smash it over this kaiju's head. Like I'm not even gonna.
Oh, I love that.
Not even like firing it at him. I'm just like smashing it with my hand.
Yeah, just shoving it onto him. I do think that's a desperate action because normally you'd have some distance between you and the explosion of the ammo. But we'll say it's a usual effect.
Okay. Cool. I will mark a little bit more stress to get an extra dice out of this because I don't think that in this instance I could argue for resourceful helping me. Okay. 6. I got a 6. I got a 1 and a 6, but I got a 6.
This ammo, you just shove it onto this giant tree ant kaiju, and where it is, it sort of melds into like the shoulder that you shoved it on, and it just turns into like magma on its shoulder. And there is just this deep guttural cry that just echoes through this entire valley. But I've marked 2 more on the Trient defeat segment.
So how many are left on there?
2 more.
2 more? Okay.
2 more. Let's stick with Johnny. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, like, I've got to take this thing out. And so I'm just going to go at this point, just kind of go for the Hail Mary and see if I can like, because I did say I make myself slightly bigger than it, and so I'm gonna stoop down and try to like lift it up and basically like, I don't even remember the name of it, but that like wrestling move where you throw somebody kind of like over your shoulder and then fall back.
Suplex? Yeah.
Suplex. Yeah, I'm gonna suplex.
Yeah, suplex him.
You're about to destroy half of the country with this suplex.
Honestly,
It's awesome.
yeah, right?
Insane.
Yeah. I think that is a risky thing.
Okay.
I'm not desperate. I think it's risky. And I think that, usual effect is probably you're just trying to throw him over your shoulder.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I do not have the stress available to mark.
Okay.
Do I get an extra die though if I take a consequence?
Absolutely. You can take that consequence.
I'm going to take the consequence because I am nervous about only rolling one.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Not as good, but it's still 5.
Okay.
I think that's still
okay.
It's okay, right?
It is. You can back off or you can accept a consequence and do it still.
I'll accept the consequence and do it still. So
okay,
that's 2 consequences?
2 consequences. That is 2 consequences. Yeah. And I'm going to add a third one, though, but it's not going to affect you, but it'll just be funny.
Okay.
All right. And we'll see that, I think, maybe in the after credit scenes.
Yeah. It's like, go big or watch your friends get crushed in a building, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you grab this thing and... I know what it is. Oh, I know what it is. You grab your hand on its shoulder and start lifting it up, and it's struggling against you the entire time. It takes its hands and puts them on your hand that's grabbing it, and trees just start spiking through your hand. Just...
Yeah.
And just as you throw him, your hand falls off.
It was Marma hand.
Your little marmoset hand just falls off.
His big little marmoset.
Your little gigantic hand.
Your little gigantic hand falls off, but and it's like here, right? It's just like at the wrist, basically. But you yeet this thing halfway across the country. And that defeats the tree end. The earthquakes sort of stop. There's still the residual like shaking and whatnot. We didn't even deal with the aliens. That's hilarious. Like, what were the aliens doing the entire time?
It's running.
Just running.
Yeah, right. Probably. Yeah, they probably were just running.
I just realized he shrunk down into a tiny little marmoset, and then So it's like a really stretched like image.
I think one is just the narrative consequence of like losing your hand, right? So now you're down one hand. But I also think you should take the level 1 injury bleeding.
Okay.
We'll just say it has to be a level 1 injury, which is silly because I feel like it should be like a level 2 injury, but level 1 injury. You know what? I'm a GM. I can do what I want. Make it a level 2 injury.
Whoa,
called bleeding.
That's serious.
Yeah. That feels a little bit more narrative appropriate to losing a hand than a level 1 injury does. Now,
I mean, on that same token, could just not take my hand, but I digress.
Sure, it's true. I could have. I was just trying to think of some consequences. I thought it was fun.
It's fun.
Aren't you having
Do you
fun,
have something
Johnny?
else? No. Do you have something else?
No.
I'm happy.
It's great.
Are you
not entertained?
I love this level 2 injury. It's mine. I'm keeping it.
Wonderful.
Mine.
Okay, all right. This is a gift. You can't make me. You don't return gifts.
That's right.
Danny, you come back for a moment. You realize where you are, but you just see Steve standing there, not moving. You've got one last chance to get Steve out of there. Is there anything you can do?
I have a claymore, a marmoset bomb, and snacks.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. And see,
Okay.
I see like the building slowly starting to come down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm gonna say Steve. Oh! And I'm gonna run up to the hole, and I'll grab my sword,
Okay.
sir. I'll grab my sword, and I'll reach out. I'll grab it blade side because
Yeah. I
you
gotcha.
know claymores, knight swords. They're really made for bashing. You know, they're not really that sharp.
That's actually true. I mean, that's historically
Yeah.
accurate.
Yep. Yep. And I'm gonna grab my sword blade side and hold out the handle to Steve. And I'm oh. And if I can reach him, start poking his forehead with it.
All right. I like that. Danny, I want you to mark stress.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna let Steve roll. As the poking of the forehead hits you, you kind of realize where you are. This is desperate, my friend. This is very desperate.
Yeah.
But if you can get this roll, you're gonna grab the sword and Danny's gonna be able to pull you out.
Oh.
I'm just repeating.
Okay?
Oh.
So
Oh.
you're gonna take one die
Okay.
for sheer luck.
Okay.
I don't think you have any traits that help or hinder you.
No.
You do have a fear that impacts you. So I'm going to say we're going to remove that dice you have.
Yeah. So I have to push.
You don't think you could use sneaky
Yeah.
to sneak beneath the building's notice?
Oh, I forgot. Oh, you know what? Yeah, no. So yeah, you can push yourself or take a consequence.
Could one of
If
my
you want an
traits
extra
help him?
die. You're already getting an extra die from
Oh,
Danny
okay.
assisting you.
So it's 2d6 total if I stress myself.
If you stress or take a consequence.
Also,
Otherwise
yeah.
it's just one.
I will choose the stress
Okay.
and accept Danny's help.
Okay.
Oh! What do we got? 5 and 2.
Oh,
Okay. All right. So you can back off, which I'm assuming you don't want to do.
Nope. Yep.
Or you can accept the
he
consequence.
just backs away from me poking his head. I'm like, no, what are you doing?
I mean, we already established that this whole thing was for naught and you weren't going to get what you wanted. Maybe you lose the fuel as you're getting pulled out.
All of this for nothing.
You grab onto it, and Danny, you start pulling, and you realize that it's so heavy, you're not going to have enough time to get Steve and the fuel out.
Drop it.
Okay.
You drop the fuel and get yanked out just moments before this entire building collapses.
Oh.
I go, and in English that's, Steve, I almost thought I lost you.
You've both
I
already
saw you in
turned
there
back
and I
into
looked in your
people.
eyes. I'm still speaking Marmoset.
Yeah. Thank you, Danny.
Also, look at that. I point to Johnny.
Whoa. That's Johnny?
I'm assuming at some point you shrink back down.
Oh.
No, you just stay like that? Okay, great. All right.
Carry us to the next world, Johnny.
I can't hear you, puny human.
I'm gonna look up at Johnny and yell, Daddy! Shit! I mean Johnny!
Okay, we are at 7 of the 8 segments on the clock.
Dost thou hear me?
I
I'm
think
yelling as loud as I
I
can.
think we just have to climb him. I don't think he can hear us.
Oh, you guys can climb me anytime.
Oh my god. No. No, no.
Should
He's big.
Should I?
No,
yeah,
he's big.
yeah.
No.
I think. Yeah.
Not for Danny.
No, for Danny. Yeah,
He
Danny,
said,
you're
you
just
guys.
both of you. Danny, you were just overcome with this overwhelming attraction to Johnny in this giant form.
As soon as Steve says that, we start climbing. Okay. I start climbing up his marmoset. Steve, you see this feral look in my eyes.
I don't know what happened. He's changed all of a sudden, and then
So I
Wonderful.
I eventually shrink back down.
Yep. As you're climbing, you shrink back down till eventually the three of you are. And I will say at this point, the marmoset time goes off, and you were back to being human form.
As we're climbing, he shrinks. So like when he's down to normal human size, are we just like holding on to him?
Well, you would hit the ground eventually.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
We're like both holding onto his legs.
oh, hi Johnny. We were climbing you.
Hadn't noticed.
Understandable. Thanks for doing that thing you did. I couldn't get the fuel.
I just look at the building. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. There may still be some. It'll just take a long time to get out of the wreckage. Oh, Justin, are either of the cars intact?
Oh yeah.
Let's I'm gonna roll 2 die and take the lower because one die for sheer luck, and then there's a very good chance they're not, so I'm gonna take a die away for that. No, they're both completely smashed.
Dang it.
Yep, totally trashed.
Well, the bright side is that the aliens are gone, so
We can.
Yes, in fact, Johnny, as you were shrinking, you maybe looked out over the lake, and they had actually all gotten on their boats and were making their way north, sort of in the direction not only of the boat that you know sunk there, but also that giant portal towards the far north. They were all making their way that direction.
Yeah, they were heading. The aliens were heading north, so I think that we've got a little bit of space to figure out where we're going here for a minute.
We can push the car to Sleepy Eye. The truck,
Nope.
rather.
I mean, might as well just walk there at this rate. It's not like we had anything important
True.
in the truck other than the truck itself.
True.
There are more F-150s out there. It's true.
Yeah.
In fact, there are too many, even after the apocalypse.
Yeah. What time of day is it, Justin?
It is about, let's see, there's 6 on the time clock. So that puts us at about dusk.
Okay. We should probably find a place to camp out, right?
Yeah. I'm hungry.
I'm going to hand wave it. You find a place to camp out. We're not going to go completely into the rest actions. I do want to, Danny, Johnny, are you...
Oh no! So
any conversations you...
that happened. It happened while Johnny was big.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
We didn't want to address it too directly.
Yes,
but-
and
Understand. I gotcha. We're good. No need to carry on.
let's call that a veil.
The three of you bed down for the evening.
All three?
Having not really accomplished what you intended to, but you're alive, and that's what matters. Tomorrow's a new day, and that's it. That's Apocalypse Road Trip. That was the most ridiculous thing I could. That was so ridiculous. It was right up my alley. It was right up my alley how ridiculous this was.
A lot of fun.
We have one after credit scene because we have to answer one important question, which is Johnny yeets this thing into the sky and it goes flying into the distance, and the camera cuts to the ruins of Milwaukee, And we zoom in on an apartment, and sitting in a chair at his desk is one Nick Coplin. And he's just muttering to himself, I can't believe they left me here. Instead, I was too much of a liability. Well, I'll show them. He's like working on something, and then the sun goes out. And so Nick moves to the window and he looks up. And as he looks up, a giant tree ant kaiju just lands on his apartment, crushing Nicholas Coplin.
That's where he was.
And that is Apocalypse Road Trip.
We told him he was a liability, so he couldn't come with us.
We told Nick he was a liability and brought Danny.
We could have made better choices. Maybe next time.
Well,
Oh my god.
thank you so much for listening to us just have some fun, play around. Did we play Apocalypse Road Trip exactly how it's supposed to be written? I think we did as best we could. But we're just having fun. So I had fun. And next week we'll be playing Blades in the Dark. That'll be a bit more serious because I like to do the Avatar stuff a little bit more serious because it's our bread and butter. And then after that, we're going to do a couple Q&A sessions and just hang out and talk show-esque episodes. And then I think I said we're playing External Containment Bureau. That is still the plan. There might be less of us than I had hoped or intended, but that's because it's summer and people have lives and jobs and things happen. So next week, Nick will be back. We'll be playing Blades in the Dark, and it is going to be a ton of fun. I would love, I don't know if I mentioned this before, I would love to make a push to get to doing the Behind the Bison as like a bi-weekly thing. And to do that, we have our goal set to $100 a month on Patreon. So if you're enjoying what you're listening to and you want to support us, this is a completely self-funded and independent project. So any support that you're wanting to give is very beneficial to us. It allows us to keep doing this and take some of that stress away. So please, if you're enjoying this and want to support us, you can support us for as low as $1 a month. We added that tier. It gets you to like be able to listen to any like Patreon exclusive stuff that we have. But that's it. So yeah, if you're interested in supporting us, please check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Flying Bison Podcast. And I would love to be able to do Behind the Bison come the fall. That's my hope and goal. So help us get there.
And thank you to our awesome donors and supporters.
Thank you to our current patrons. Yeah, you're great and incredible. And we love having you a part of our community. All right. Thank you for exploring the apocalypse with us. We will see you next week for Blades in the Dark. Bye.
Oh,
I'm a giant god now.
Jesus Christ.